Somewhere in this universe, there is a world where all sorts of beings from different dimensions live in one. While there's humans, it wasn't the average type. Some would have normal fingers like you and I, but some would have 4, and yet just have as much function and availability with their hands, as well as certain features with their eyes, face, and body structure. That's not to mention how the animals can be. For every cat that's on 4 paws, or a dog that puts a bone in a hole that they dig to mind, you get a hedgehog that has supersonic speed, a mouse that fights with a cat with oversized weapons, and a rabbit who works in the police force. But what they really have that we lack is the ability to love others who aren't related to their world. Not only that, but the unlikely type of species or type of person, such as a hedgehog with a female smurf, the devil for robots with a former queen of an alien planet, and a small rabbit with a fox. Love seems to be non-stop across this world. One such couple that exists in this town is probably the weirdest of them all. And it does sound like it was made up, or even a vision under a certain substance. But yet, what we're focusing on is a sea sponge who lives in a pineapple under the sea, and a robot who was programmed to save Earth from danger outside the planet or inside it. How these two become a couple in the first place? Well, let me introduce them to you. The sea sponge goes by the name of Spongebob SquarePants. The sea sponge once lived in a city that was underwater named Bikini Bottom. For years, he always had a smile on his face, mostly because he was full of optimism and a sweet, if naive, childlike attitude towards life. He works in the most popular local restaurant in town, the Krusty Krab, run by Mr. Eugene Krabs, and formerly worked alongside with his neighbor Squidward. Unlike most employees, SpongeBob deeply loves his job, and is arguably the key of success within the business. And the robot goes by her codename, Robotic Global Response Unit Model Number XJ9, but most people call her by her XJ9 brand name, even if she prefers to be called Jenny. Created by Dr. Noah Wakeman, the machine's main objective is to protect the planet from all sorts of evil across the galaxy. But what Wakeman didn't expect to come from her invention was this: thoughts of being seen as a regular teenage girl and live a life along with other teenagers. Both went through all sorts of adventures for years in their own dimension, unaware of each other's existence in the universe. That was until a portal opens in their homes and consumed everything. Soon, both awakened to a whole city that has their towns mixed with others. The sponge met 4 other creatures and formed a friendship with them that they would team up to save this new world that they would now call home. Jenny, however, was focused on discovering more of the origins of the unfamiliar location to meet them yet. The two first met during a mission to save a friend of SpongeBob's, where the young sea sponge saw the robot crash nearby and goes to repair her. Once getting to know each other, they both discovered that they have a similar goal of saving SpongeBob's friends and taking down a villain that caused Jenny to crash in the first place. The two went to save the day, and soon a friendship began between them. Jenny would get involved in more adventures with the sponge and his friends, which made their friendship stronger with every villain they fought, every day they saved, and the more conversations they would have during the following months. That was until one day, where some members of the team were caught by a villain which SpongeBob was a part of. Something grew inside of them that they weren't aware of until now. An interesting feeling towards each other that would make them no longer friends. Instead, it was love. SpongeBob never fell in love before meeting Jenny, so all the feelings he had towards the robot were all new to him. Jenny, on the other hand, had her few times of crushes and boyfriends before this, from humans to robots, but never with a sea creature, let alone a sponge. But both looked at their friends Sonic and Smurfette, who were a different type of relationship and yet made it work between them. So eventually, with a little help, SpongeBob told Jenny and how he felt, and she returned those feelings. It was official. The two were a couple and began dating. Since then, the two continued dating for a few months while still ending up in a few more adventures with the others. Some were small and minor, like dealing with some foes or rivals, while others would bring them to other dimensions and bigger threats than ever before. But the two uses those to strengthen their relationship no matter what happened to them. It kept going until the 1-year anniversary of their meeting that SpongeBob decided to ask Jenny the most important question in their lives: marriage, which she accepted. After that, the two continued to save the world and be with their friends while dealing with this new life of marriage, with their adventures helping along the way, such as dealing with fights. But as the years went on and the longer the two stayed together, something was building up in SpongeBob that made him worried. Even if it seems their marriage is going strong, SpongeBob couldn't get a thought out of his head, and he was getting more anxious and yet was afraid to reveal it to Jenny. It was late at night. The Sponge and Warbot were looking at the beauties of the city view from below and the life that brought from its citizens. SpongeBob's eyes move away from the town and towards Jenny, whose mechanical body shines brightly from the lights below. The moment of worrisome and fear began to creep up on the soft heart within the sea creature, as his eyes went in the other direction. Jenny's system sensed an emotional change in SpongeBob and turns to look at him, looking worried.
SpongeBob? What's the matter?
It's nothing. I didn't realize how far up we are. I can't even see plankton from here.
SpongeBob says quickly, attempting to ignore Jenny's concerns.
Well, that is true. That's not what I'm talking about. Is there something wrong?
Yeah, I'm fine. There's nothing wrong at all. Honest.
SpongeBob smiles at Jenny, even if she could see through the smile. Because of his good-natured attitude, it makes it harder for him to lie, especially to those who know him for so long. Especially for those who know him for so long, like Jenny.
SpongeBob, it's okay to talk to me. You know I'm here for you if you're ever sad, and right now I can sense more sadness inside you.
Jenny assures SpongeBob, lowering herself down to his level of height to look at him with assurance. Knowing that she's white and he can't get out of this, SpongeBob took a moment to collect his thoughts with a deep breath and closing of his eyes, before turning to look at her, opening his eyes to look at hers.
Do you ever feel like we aren't meant to be together?
SpongeBob reveals to her.
What do you mean by that?
Jenny looks on, confused on what he meant by that.
Like, I shouldn't be the one for you?
SpongeBob says.
The one for you?
She asks, even more confused.
I know it's silly to think like this, especially after what we've been through over the years in this place. But every now and then, I get these moments in my head that makes me question something. Am I too immature for you?
SpongeBob says as he turns to look at the city.
You've seen how I act. I still like blowing bubbles, eating ice cream, and loving my job at the Krusty Krab. Not to mention I always greet people with a smile, which is usually seen as, well, childish, and, well, I'm not a child.
SpongeBob looks down and closes his eyes while his hands lay on top of a small whale.
I never really took notice of that in Bikini Bottom. The things people say about me like Squidward, Plankton, Bubble Bass, and more. But the longer we stay in here, the more I begin to realize they're right. I am just a kid that happens to be in a grown body. Which is why I feel like you could deserve better, being with a real man who's strong, tough, and likes manly things and stuff that isn't kiddie-like to most. Unlike me.
SpongeBob begins to tear up, his eyes watering as his voice sounded more upset as he spoke.
Not to mention the whole sponge part. Something so soft, you can play a robot. Imagine a sponge being in a relationship with anyone, especially a robot as beautiful and genuine as you. Surprised my water hasn't caused you to break down.
Without a warning, SpongeBob felt her arms around him, pulling him for a hug, catching him off guard as tears still fall from his eyes while looking up into her face.
You shouldn't be ashamed about how you act. That's what I love most about you.
Jenny says as her eyes looked away while SpongeBob turns to look at her face. Jenny softly says to SpongeBob with him listening to her every word.
I have fallen for guys who wouldn't even acknowledge me if it was just the two of us in a room. Others would pretend to show interest towards me, only to use my weapons and tech for their selfish reasons. Not to mention some would act a bit creepy when I'm around, which is a turnout for sure. But you listened to me. You never used me for anything at all, and you always respect me for who I am. And personally, I always love your enthusiasm to life. Never letting anyone get to you for who you are, and always finding the best in everyone. Even for the villains and rivals who we face against every time. Also, I just like seeing you being so happy with the bubbles, working at your job, and anything else you do. I also have my moments of doubt and questioning if you deserve someone better than me. Like, I'm a robot that both saves the world nonstop from everything in the universe and wants to be a normal girl like everyone else in this planet. Many would flee the moment they see me for either seeing me as a danger to everyone for the simple fact I'm a robot, or just a weirdo for not understanding the life of humans.
Well, maybe we do deserve each other. We're both seen as weird to others for who we are and what we do in this world. But when we're together, we don't care how people see us as long.
SpongeBob says softly to her.
As we have each other to make each other happy.
Jenny says softly back.
Exactly.
Now knowing their fears over their marriage is over and how strong their love is, the two embrace with a soft kiss on the lips while wrapping their arms around each other, showing that no matter how different they are or how people see them as, love is still love to them. Hi guys, Logan the Hedgehog here. I just want to quickly thank you guys for watching this video. It's a very different format than my usual content, but I kind of liked how different it felt in comparison to the previous episodes of Sonic and Friends. And with today being the 20th anniversary of my life as a teenage robot, I felt like making something special to celebrate this show that means a lot to me just as much as SpongeBob SquarePants does. I also want to thank WardernMamaBear for providing the voice of Jenny once again for this little special video. Working alongside with her and seeing this idea brought to life, really helped me out, and I'm always appreciative of all the love that she has given to not only Spongebob and Jenny, but the whole Sonic and Friends series in general. I couldn't have done this without you, fam, and I'm grateful to know you for as long as I have, and making this idea work. I don't know if I'll do any other similar videos with this style of format, but who knows. If you guys like it a lot, I could potentially make more videos like it, though I don't know if it would be Sonic and Friends related. But for now, thank you guys for watching this video, and I hope you enjoy it. Again, different format and all. And so, yeah, happy 20th anniversary, my life as a teenage robot, and thank you guys for watching. See you guys later.